Hello, and thank you for joining this Fluency Professional Development course. Throughout this course, you will learn how to and why you should understand, assess, and intervene with your students' oral reading fluency. So starting off, we're going to talk about fluency, why you should care. So what is fluency and why should you care? Well, as teachers of English language arts, reading comprehension is our main goal, correct? The thing with reading comprehension is it's not as simple as just practicing comprehension by asking a lot of different types of questions and reading and rereading. Comprehension is actually really heavily reliant upon fluency, especially word automaticity. Basically, if students are struggling with the words in a passage or a text in front of them, they're not able to put them together and actually comprehend the meaning of the overall text. So you might be asking yourself, it's probably a constant question as an ELA teacher, why are your students struggling so much with comprehension? Well, let's reflect on this. When was the last time that fluency was involved with one of your learning goals? All right, do I have your attention? Now, what exactly is fluency? Basically, a fancy definition is oral reading fluency is the ability to read connected text quickly, accurately, and with expression, or as you will otherwise hear, prosody. In doing so, there is no noticeable cognitive effort that is associated with decoding the words on the page. So, like I said before, if a student is mostly bothering with trying to put the words together, trying to put word parts together, and trying to decode what words are saying, they're not actually able to put all of the words together to decode the meaning of a passage. Therefore, the more a student has to focus on decoding words and word automaticity, the less they are able to attend to their overall comprehension. So when we talk about fluency, there are three main parts. There's prosody, which as I said is oral reading expression, how a student's voice moves up and down, how their tone of voice changes, how they pay attention to punctuation. There's oral reading rate, which is basically just a fancy way of saying speed. This is calculated by using a measurement called words per minute. As we get more into fluency, you'll see that speed becomes a very important indicator of how students are improving with fluency. And then finally, there's automaticity. Automaticity is students' ability to see a word and immediately recognize it and not have to sit there and decode any of the word parts to try to put it together. All right, you with me? Now, how do you think you might be able to figure out which of your students need help with fluency? Well, the answer is actually within iStation. iStation is an assessment that we've all been giving this year, and this is one less step for you in being able to attend to your students' fluency needs. All you're going to have to do is learn how to run a certain report on iStation, and as you can see, on the right-hand column of this report, there is a score right there for all of your students' text fluency. So this will be able to tell you how exactly you should identify which students need more help or more intervention with text fluency. And we'll talk more about that later in this course. So once you have identified your students who need help with text fluency by using iStation, how do you help them? Well, there's one pretty simple answer, and it's called repeated readings. The more that students read and reread a passage, the higher their fluency levels are going to get because they will be decoding words less and they will be becoming more automatic. And one of the fantastic platforms that's available to us at Gravely is called Fluency Tutor. This is an online program where students will be able to read passages and record them and then send them to you as a teacher, and you can score them in multiple ways involving tracking the different types of oral miscues that students have, and you can also track their oral reading rate like I talked about earlier. Again, I'll talk more about this later on in this course, but that is the platform that we will be using for fluency intervention. All right, so next steps. If you're still paying attention and you're still with me, your next steps are going to be to watch the extended video on how to use iStation to determine which of your students need the most help with fluency. And then after that, once you've figured out which of your kiddos need the most help, I have an extended tutorial video on how to use Fluency Tutor so that you can put together an intervention program for your students. All right, so go ahead and move on to the next assignment in this course.